Let's see. Oh, we're already live. Okay, so what's going on, folks? Welcome to tonight's episode of the Running Gun Podcast. I'm Jay Peeps, and tonight with me, hold up, wait, let me try to fix it. I'm trying to fix it. And tonight with me, I've got, oh, wait, there's Ace. There we go. But yes, I'm Jay Peeps, and that's Ace. And tonight with us as well, we also have Trey from the No Disrespect But podcast. So Trey, what's going on, man? How you doing this evening?
Man, doing good, man. Got to shout out my San Antonio Spurs. They're on the couch like me, but hoping for hope we're playing basketball this time next year. But man, excited to be on y'all's podcast again. I was telling Ace not too long ago. I mean, I like the y'all setup. I like how y'all get things done. And honestly, I think you're kind of setting the standard of what a podcast looks like. I'm already seeing y'all getting plugged in on announcements about where players are going. So that's just showing that y'all are doing great things. And so if y'all are following these guys, you're in good hands. And if you aren't, you need to get with the program and get a taste of what these guys are putting on every Wednesday. So
Yeah.
my agents of respect, make sure y'all tune into these guys.
Yes, thank you so much, Trey, for saying
Thanks,
that.
bro.
Trey is saying what we've been trying to tell y'all for the longest. So, like, again, if you are watching on YouTube, shout out to the one viewer so far on YouTube that's watching. The rest of you, as y'all come on and check in, go to YouTube and go like, share, and subscribe to this channel. But the comment section is also open on Twitter. It's open on Facebook and it's open on YouTube. It's not open on Instagram Live. Or it is open on Instagram Live. We just can't see it. So there's the down parts of that. But we are available on watch this. If you're a little bit trigger shy and don't want to comment, Instagram's your place. But aside from that, here we are. But definitely, Trey, we appreciate that, man. That's love, man. That's love. And then
what up, Drunk? How y'all doing? What up, Trey? Great to have you back on. We're gonna talk about that man up in Colorado in a bit. Don't worry, we can talk about him. Talking about where the HBCU guys ended up. Some guys I like in their spots, man. You got a guy up in New York. I like his spot. I like a guy down in the Bayou with that tryout. I like it. I think he's gonna take a spot though. Keep an eye on that guy. But yeah, we'll talk about all about that. NFL draft, NBA playoffs. Stuff got spicy. Some teams already out. Greatest basketball take of this podcast history is cooking right now. Still going. The Jamal Murray one.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wait, what?
Are you so confused already? All right. Anyway, be a friend, tell a friend, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for shout out Trey's No Disrespect But podcast. We did a mock draft the other week. I mean, I kind of trolled on that, but we'll talk about all that reviewing.
Honestly, you were a lot closer, which was hilarious, to be quite honest with you.
We'll talk all about it. JP, run that intro. Let's get it going.
Let's go. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is GP.
This is The Bug.
This is JC.
This is Flash. This is Jimi Hendrix.
And you're listening to
the Run and Gun Podcast.
All right. What is up? Now let's get this show on the road. Well, I try to do the We Live tweet because I can't find penalty talks on my feed anywhere to find it to post it.
As we get one commit already announced earlier today at 7:00 per Jordan Moore, former linebacker, now he's taking over Devin Rispers's spot as recruiting coordinator, essentially. Jalen Ward from Middle Tennessee State, who was a 3-star wide receiver, transfers over to FAMU. So already a pickup, literally, a few days after all these additions that came in from free agency as undrafted free agents and everything, the NFL draft. So without further ado, I know y'all want to talk about it as much as I do. Well, we got to address the elephant in the room. Another year, no HBCU players were drafted. I know it's unfortunate to say, but I mean, I'm taking a little bit.
We're not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
We're not surprised. It sucks, but NFL is gonna NFL, and somebody's gonna get this year's Marquise Bell. And I'm praying it's our team, me and Trey's team, man. Hopefully, they get that guy right there in the linebacker squad.
Yeah, man, we were just talking about that. I don't know about y'all, but like you said, Ace, the NFL is going to NFL, and what they do best is perform for the masses. And with what they've said that they're, sending scouts out to see some of these HBCU players in their programs, the Legacy Bowl, HBCU Combine, but you can't get an invite to the NFL Combine. It's no surprise that, again, another player isn't drafted, albeit that they are some of the best in the nation. So I don't know what has to happen, but from my observation, it just seems like some performatism by the NFL again.
Mm-hmm. My thing is, I find it funny. It's like, dude, your league was built on HBCU players, so I think it's kind of I do see it as a slap in the face to not take these guys, because it's like, dude, again, this is how your league was built. This is what made your league watchable and enjoyable TV. You have guys like like Bob Hayes, Walter Payton. My gosh, so many to count. Wait, who else?
Jerry Rice, Steve McNair.
Exactly. Shaq Harris, Jerry Rice. All these guys. Henry Lawrence. It's even
We'll go into this in a minute. Down here.
Oh my gosh. Not Al Frazier. Even though he didn't make it, but Willie Gallimore, who I think realistically, if Willie Gallimore hadn't got killed, Willie Gallimore probably is the NFL's all-time leading rusher at the time, and not Jim Brown, before Walter Payton comes in and shatters that record. In my honest opinion. I know some people may feel differently about that, but just in my honest opinion. But I think someone's got to give, man. But again, someone's got to break the barrier. I think a little bit of it has to do with the transfer portal and this whole NIL thing and everything, and this, that, and the other, with certain players leaving HBCUs and leaving the FCS to go pastures that they think are greener pastures, but they're not.
Yeah, we know about that.
Oh, and don't worry, it's a lot. Like I said, a lot of guys are going to get lost in that portal. Some won't. Some will be casualties, as I'm sure we can all agree. But
I mean, I'm gonna just bring up Drunk's comment now that we talk about NIL. It's what does NIL deals look like? My phone said I misspelled. Okay. So he's basically asking, what do you think HBCU NIL deals look like? I believe they're they're somewhere in the 40, 50 range, K-wise.
I mean, you have NIL
on the higher side.
Because the most prominent one that I know of right now is defensive back Jalen Glaze. He has a NIL deal right now with Krispy Kreme donuts, where you get like a Jalen Glaze dozen, and his name is on that. So it's like any Tallahassee area Krispy Kreme, if you go get that Jalen Glaze dozen, that goes back to him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, again, like I said, I'm not the most hippest person that's up on NIL, because I'm from the tail end of all this, where it's like the transfer portal didn't exist. I'm one of those people that believes in, go where you feel your education
is best development and education. Yeah,
exactly. Where you feel your major is going to best benefit you, and go where you feel you're going to get developed at. So go where you feel both suit you, regardless of if the coach leaves or if your coordinator leaves or if the person that recruited you leaves. Like I'm of that persuasion. I can't speak for everyone else, but again, the whole NIL agent thing, to me, I'm like, is this where we're at in society? I think that's crazy and it's insane that this is where we're at. But unfortunately, this is where we're at now. But
another question, Shane Sharp always brags about how he went to Savannah State. No, he doesn't, bro. No, we both know it. But also, he wasn't exactly the best guy coming out, like, as a thing. But nowadays, he had a personality. I feel like he would definitely get more. He would definitely get an NIL bag somewhere else.
Here's the thing. You got to look at. I know and I'm sure Trey would agree with me. When you look at Shannon Sharp, you see the Shannon Sharp you see now is not the Shannon Sharp you saw
right
before he came into the league and when he got into the league. So I think back then he kind of knew his place and knew where he was at and what he needed to do. Because you got to think, his brother Sterling was 10 times better than him.
Better, yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, he went to Savannah State because they were the only school that offered him to play wide receiver. So, I mean, he had Power 5 offers at that time where we knew the bag man was available, but he wanted to play that position. His brother had a big part in that, being one of the star wide receivers at the time. So, it's hard to play hindsight because one, I mean, you got to think about his family unit too. Would his family unit tell him, hey, it's okay to leave Savannah State after a couple years and go to this? The way he talks about his grandmother and his aunties, I don't think so. But, nowadays we got kids, their family members are telling them, man, you could be doing this and that at the next institution, and the grass isn't always greener. I know for a fact there's a guy that transferred from my alma mater, goes to LSU, DBU, some say, and ends up getting benched, and they bring in more players. Who knows if he's going to start? And he's a guy that was holding FCS records at a university that has a track record for getting defensive backs drafted as well from the FCS level. And you go to a school that didn't even offer you a scholarship just because you're good now, and you go away from the school that developed you. Maybe if you stay one more year, you're probably getting drafted. And now you got to hope that you're beating out all of these freshmen that have been promised playing time and money and all the things that come with being a recruit, right? And if he doesn't beat them out, or even if he feels like he's beat them out, but politics dictates that you don't get as much love here that you got there, well, now he's shit out of luck. And now we got to hope for a combine invite. So,
remind me, we got to talk about the politics later. It's happening now, and it messing with a lot of guys. And some teams get steals out of that. Trey
hit it right on the head.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and get into this list of players that got signed. Well, the players that got signed first. So
and then the tryouts.
Yeah, so starting out with the draft diamonds that got signed first. So the Jets added Marcus Riley. The specifics on his deal, which first was reported by us, him going to the Jets, but the specifics came from his agent. $2.83 million over 3 years. Not bad for an undrafted free agent. I still want to see this man go against Sauce Gardner. I really do. The next one is Aneem Dankwa, who I thought, realistically speaking, I thought this was going to be the one to get drafted. Offensive lineman from Howard, who got signed by the Eagles. Tariq Stewart.
Of course, he's going to be a stud.
Yeah. Tariq Stewart, who's another offensive lineman from North Carolina A&T, he signed with the Patriots. Jarvion Howard, who signed with the Packers from Alcorn State. Honestly, looking at him and looking at how he plays, if anything, he does suit Green Bay's style of running. In my opinion, who was probably one of the best defensive ends or edge rushers in the SWAC this year, Sundiata Anderson, he signed with the Seahawks out of Grambling. Jablonski Green, who was another pass rusher. He signed with the Colts from South Carolina State. And then these are the guys that received camp invites. So you had 3 of them that I know of so far for sure. So Junior Musa signed, or not signs. He has a camp invite to come to Tampa. He's with the Bucks. I already told my folks, I'm like, look, if he makes it to training camp, I'd love to
You're
go.
going.
I'm going, dude. I'm going. I want to go see Moose, man. It would be nice to see if Moose could beat out John Wolford again, as I've stated, for the wide receiver 3 spot.
Possible.
QB.
Quarterback
QB,
3.
we know.
QB 3.
You got QB. Hey, I didn't say it, but I think that's possible. Very possible.
I think so too. We'll get into that in a second. The next one is, Terrell Jennings, who he received a camp invite to the Patriots. Patriots honestly need someone that can tote the rock, in my opinion. They need all help they can get because they're not what they used to be. And then you had Isaiah Major, who received camp invites from both the Saints and the Chiefs. We'll get into that one in a second. And then the Rams, even though he came out last year, the Rams extended Xavier Smith. So they brought him back.
A good Xavier Smith, by the way. I feel like we got to clarify that because there's another Xavier Smith going around that. I feel like we had to clarify that one because there's some people who would think it's the same dude that same Xavier Smith that's getting, involved in other topics that we're going to discuss in a minute.
So this Xavier Smith is the one that balled out at FAMU that we all know and that I'm sure the majority of the 15 people know and love that are watching this. The other Xavier Smith we'll talk about later. He was a Colorado player. But, yeah, honestly, for me, I'm like Ace. I think it's possible that Musa can beat out John Wolford for the QB3 spot. I know there are some out there that are saying, well, maybe he can beat out Kyle Trask. And I know there are some diehard ballers out there that are going to go a little bit further and say, oh, well, maybe he could probably beat out Baker Mayfield.
Okay, we ain't getting that far.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, exactly. I would not either. I've said it. While I am happy for Musa, I think Musa needs to be more polished. I think Musa has the capability to eventually develop as a backup in this league. I don't think that he takes the spot from Trask because why? Because Trask has experience.
Second round pedigree.
Exactly. That too. And knowledge of the playbook at the same time too. And he's actually has live game reps and knows the speed of the game at this level.
Mm-hmm.
One thing though, didn't the Bucks change? Canals went and joined the Panthers. So are they running the same offense with Liam Cohen? I think that's the OC now, right? From Kentucky.
He was with the Rams. He was with the Rams.
Yeah, he was with the Rams, and then he went to Kentucky. Now he's with the Bucks. But I was just making sure they're running the same offense still.
Hey, I'm not really sure, but I know they did this to primarily benefit Baker because he worked with Baker in LA for that short stint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure
just wanted to make sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they'll run kind of a similar scheme. Liam is probably going to rely on the run a little bit more in the short passing game, but pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, Bucky Irving, right? That's who they drafted.
Yeah, that's who they drafted.
Improve and Graham Barton, I believe that's their center now.
Yeah, from Duke.
They we'll talk about the Bucks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
also this is pretty cool, Drunk.
Hey, it's a short story. I went to high school in St. Louis, Missouri, Hood High School. A guy I know got a camp invite from the Raiders. They sent him home within 3 days. Hey, he still got the experience.
Was it the Vegas Raiders or the Oakland Raiders?
That will help age Drunk too.
Is what the Raiders. Now that I've seen the USF Lexington growing even half a 6-pack. Oh my goodness. Oh Jesus. But yeah, so I mean, as I spoke with Trey earlier about it too. I know y'all are. Well, I know Ace is probably he was doing cartwheels a few days ago when Isaiah Major got the call. But when the Chiefs came to, oh wow,
Drunk outing himself as old.
That's not too long ago though.
No, it's not that old. I'm just trolling him. It's all good.
But yeah, no, Ace. I already asked. Well, I asked Trey off air, but I want to hear Trey's thoughts again too, as well as yours. How are we feeling about Isaiah
I like
Major playing linebacker possibly for the Saints or the Chiefs?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I know
yeah, you go first.
when it comes to me, and I mentioned this to J Peeps off air. I mean, I was happy when I saw that he got invited to Saints camp. One, I just saw he was a linebacker. I did kind of add y'all on Twitter and say, "Hey, y'all got to educate me on this guy." So I got some information from y'all, got some information for some other folks that watched him closely, and knowing what the Saints have at the linebacker position, it's kind of a position with a lot of depth. They have a lot of players occupying that role, but you also know that Demario Davis is your top guy, but he only has so much left in the game. Pete Werner coming off a bad year. You're hoping he can have a bounce back year. And I know we just signed someone from Kansas City. I can't think of his name right now. You got to play Willie Gay. So you got a ball for me to remember your name, in my opinion. But that kind of led me, when we were talking about Kansas City, I said, well, with Willie Gay gone, there's kind of a vacancy at linebacker for Kansas City. And if we're talking about the odds of how many people Isaiah would have to go through to have that shot at starting relatively early in his NFL career, I think Kansas City might be the best place for him, just because it just presents the best opportunity. So it's just all about what he's wanting to do and with his career and what he thinks gives him the best chance to succeed. Would love him to choose to come to Black and Gold. I think there's an avenue, especially if he can contribute on special teams. Saints love guys like that. But when I think about the guys that are behind the starters, like an E5 Fuel or Sewell, I'm sorry, that has played extensively with the New Orleans Saints when guys have gone down. That's probably somebody. DeMarco Jackson, I believe is his last name, a draft pick of the Saints. So that's maybe a guy that they're wanting to pour more into. He has some injury issues his past few seasons, but maybe if he's healthy. So there's a lot of guys that Isaiah would have to maybe step over to even get that shot. And whereas I think Kansas City is kind of looking and open to having some more guys be able to contribute right away. And knowing his pedigree and his resume, Coach Spags would love him. So I would choose for him Kansas City if I was his agent, just because we're trying to get you paid, dude. So
yeah.
It's basically supply and demand. So he's like, Saints got a lot of supply right now. He ain't probably gonna get it, but it's also fun just to say, hey, we got a favorite you guy in the building right now. So for that, I'll say yay. But also, it's like probably not going to be here in the long run because they just drafted Jalen Ford 5th round. Just got Willie Gay, got DeMarco Jackson coming back. You got Sewell, you got some other dude. I'm forgetting his name already. You got Warner, you got Davis, right? So that's a lot of guys. Spags would love them. They got Bolton, not much else there at the linebacker position. I can't tell you a single Chiefs linebacker beside him. Yeah. So yeah, and Chiefs, they got Josh Williams over there already. Like, they're not afraid of having HBCU guys on the team right now. No. They'll bring him in. They're going to develop him great. Just opportunity right there. Go.
And HBCU guys work out well for the Saints. So I mean,
they have had guys, but not recently. Since Toronto.
Yeah. Hey, so I mean, to be honest with you, there's another one out of Texas Southern that I thought y'all would have took, Ladarius Owens. I thought y'all would have took him. Sure. I really would have because I'm like I'll say that, I'll be real with you. The one game I watched him play was against FAMU, and even a couple games on film as well. But the closest one I watched was when Texas Southern played FAMU, and it's like, dude, that guy, he's about the same size as Kamara, not the same muscle build, but size as Kamara. And he's taking on 2-3 guys, and the first guy's not bringing him down. No. He's not built like a bruiser, but it just, I was surprised. I was like, nobody picked this guy up.
Yeah.
Not as far as
running back room is pretty. How do I say this? You got Kamara, you got Kendre Miller. But I have no faith in Jamal Williams as a running back right now in his point of career because he was like when you literally look at him back in Detroit, right? He wasn't
Mhm.
busting big yardage, right? It wasn't even 5 yards. It was very short yardage, and all his the
Mhm.
touchdowns inflated his value a lot. It
Yeah.
was all the 1 yard touchdown and stuff. And then you watch him on the Saints. He wasn't healthy for the most part, but he also wasn't good at all when he
Yeah.
was on the field. Like pass pro, he was all right, but like if you could pass pro, you got a shot at being on the Saints at this point because
Mhm.
that running back room is like lacking behind Kamara and Kendra.
Yeah, I was hoping. I mean, the non-HBCU guy, we had talking about the running back position. I thought Cody Strader from Mizzou would be somebody to look at, but just kind of looking at the free agents. I know you guys will cover that later, but there's a lot of free agent running backs that are veterans. That might be the pool that the Saints are looking at, as opposed to bringing in a draft pick or another rookie, seeing what they've put in Kendra Miller and the resources they put with him. So maybe they're wanting to see him blossom with another year, hopefully healthy, because he was hurt all the camp last year from a college injury. One guy I thought we'd have was Anderson from Grambling. I know they were real high on him and looked at him a lot. He has the height being 6'4", but being 247. The Saints like those big burly defensive ends. So it makes sense that he ended up in Seattle with Coach McDonald. He can probably be more of a stand-up pass rusher, which is where he excelled at the most in college. So another guy that gets to choose his destiny. Sometimes it's okay not to get drafted because now you can actually look at the lay of the land and make a choice that might work best for you and your development. And knowing a guy where his pass rushers eat, both at the collegiate level and during his time in Baltimore, for a young guy that's looking to learn, being under Coach McDonald could be a plus for him. But I really wanted him to trade his black and gold Grambling colors for black and gold Saints colors.
I think we're noticing now because Ace is forever on here saying, the Saints don't take LSU players. Maybe it's just like Saints don't take players from like LSU, Southern, Grambling, or even East.
No, they don't take anybody from any Louisiana schools. They just don't. I don't know why.
That's crazy. That's crazy because there's been a lot of talent come through all those schools.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I'll say this
quite a ways.
I'm gonna have two things on this. Okay, y'all want to talk about the man in Colorado in the HBCU section, or you want to go to the NFL? Because he already talked about choosing your own destiny, and I feel like that's a great transition point to the NFL. If we have anything else to talk about,
one last thing I will say is, so Althea Gibson is going to get part of Wanish Way named after her, so that's a huge accomplishment. And personally, I mean, Althea Gibson went to FAMU and was good friends with my grandmother, so that is a huge thing. Honestly, it's good to see that they are honoring her in some way, shape, or form. It would be nice to, aside from giving a street named after her, maybe like, naming a dining hall after her or something, or anything like that, or maybe I'm pretty sure they named the tennis courts after her, but something like that in an even bigger facet. But I'm happy with this as well as them paying homage to a legend such as her. I think one thing I will say before we do move on is we need more statues of people like Althea Gibson and Bob Hayes.
And not the Philadelphia 76ers style statues. Come on. Oh my God.
All
right. Thanks for talking about choosing your own destiny. I've been harping on that for like the longest time. Like when people get mad that there wasn't no HBCU guys taken, I say it works out for them because they get more guaranteed money and they can go to a place that won't screw their development too much, and they can go to a place that will maximize their potential and give them the best opportunities. Unlike some dudes who, I have to say it, I feel like he might be a bust already just because of the team that drafted him and that whole situation. And I think we all know who I'm talking about right now already, right? Number 8th overall pick. Our favorite dude on the show, Michael Penix Jr. Felt bad for him, bro. I really did. I feel like man got drafted. And it's like I don't see any way this is gonna work out for him to being a star in the NFL because it's a way worse situation than Jordan Love in Green Bay. I gotta say, it's a way worse situation. Because, like, Rodgers was flirting with retirement, so the franchise had a valid reason, right, to go take a quarterback. Nah, Atlanta went and paid $180 million to Kirk Cousins in the offseason, and less than 6 weeks later, you go and draft a quarterback 8th overall. Not 25, or was it 26 with Jordan Love? Not 26, not back end of the first.
Yeah.
Oh, 24. Not back end of the first round, Top 10, you want a quarterback. Yeah, you're not going to get probably much help from Kirk Cousins in developing you. You're already, 23, I believe.
He'll be 24 by the season.
2 years. Yeah, Kirk Cousins is on the roster. Garrett has to be on the roster for the next 2 seasons unless Atlanta does what the Broncos did with Russell Wilson and say, fine, screw it, we're going to eat the giant cap. And I don't know if Arthur Smith's going to do that because Arthur Smith's going to Arthur Smith it. So it's just like,
I don't know if anybody else saw that clip, but it was like, I don't know if it was Arthur Blank or somebody, but they didn't.
Arthur Smith. Oh my God.
They didn't look happy all together.
It was Arthur Blank talking to Terry Fontenot.
Yeah. And
they didn't look happy.
Because he was not happy. And that's partially because I think everyone in the Falcons brass knew that they walk out of the draft with the quarterback. But the notion wasn't that a quarterback would be taken with the 8th pick. It was assumed that they would get somebody like a pass rusher or a cornerback to help their defense. But the guy who writes the checks is looking at his general manager saying, I wouldn't have paid a guy $180 million if I knew we were getting a quarterback. And not just any quarterback, probably the most pro-ready quarterback in the draft. So now we have to sit him for 2 years. And granted, Kirk's coming off a pretty serious injury, but in today's medicine, I mean, you probably think he can bounce back pretty well from an Achilles, and a guy that was leading the league in passing yards and touchdowns before he got hurt last year. But I'll add a little spice in terms of, it's kind of what pettiness gets you. It's the NFC South way. And so when a division rival is looking at that quarterback and would love to take him at 14, but they got some information and are aggressively trying to get in the top 10, screw you, Tennessee. You make those decisions. You make those decisions where, look, I'd rather have Michael Penix sit on my bench for 2 years than play in New Orleans. And it might work out for Terry. It may not work out, but I mean, when you think of the game that division rivals play, I know,
Karma's gonna get Atlanta for that.
Yeah,
because, and add 150. Lord, what was the nickname you have for him? Lord Slytherin.
Lord Slytherin, and I mean, that's what I mean. Spencer Rattler, man, and I think Michael Penix from an arm standpoint is the most talented in the draft, and I think Spencer Rattler from just arm talent standpoint, he's right behind Michael Penix Jr. So, you come in, those are the top 2 guys on your list. You walk away with one. I think it's a win in my book, and then you force your division rival to make a pick that everybody's going to be questioning for the next 3 or 4 years. So it was definitely a surprise, though. I did not see Atlanta doing that.
I didn't either.
Based on reports, Raheem always said they shouldn't make the same mistake they made with Matt Ryan and draft quarterback early. So they made a decision early. Okay, so I believe I know what he's talking about. So they were saying how Atlanta wanted Penix from the combine. From the moment the combine happened, they wanted Penix, right? Or Penix, whatever. But then they were a free agency came in. They were trying to trade up early into the top 5 so to make sure they would get him, and nobody would jump him at all for during draft night, right? And there's rumblings, Minnesota Saints, all them guys coming up into the top 10. So it does make sense from that aspect, but the problem is it's not what drafting Penix top 10. It's the part where there's the giant elephant of Kirk Cousins now, where you went and you didn't want to miss out on. If you miss out on Penix, you wanted to make sure you had a quarterback for next season, so you paid a dude $180 million. Right. You could have went and got a guy like Drew Lock or something to make sure you could have had a stand-in.
Yeah.
Like worst case, who's a serviceable backup. Worst case, in case you don't get your guy in the draft, right? No, you want to pay the guy over $150 million, made him one of the highest paid quarterbacks, guaranteed money wise, right now in the league, coming off a torn Achilles. That's the problem with this whole Penix situation. It's not taking Penix; it's part of paying Kirk Cousins and then taking Penix. Falcons locker room could be in flux because when what was that Rodgers' team? Same with Kirk barely knows these dudes. That causes issue. I will say this: you bring that up. Kirk not 100% come training camp, and Michael Penix balls out in training camp preseason. Guys gonna have words and opinions on that matter, and that's gonna split it in half.
Yeah.
Man,
and all it takes is a
I
couple.
really don't care about it. That's good, but like if you're a Falcons fan, you got to be worried right now, man.
Yeah, and Kirk's a slow starter. It takes him about 3 weeks to get warmed up. So,
and he got to learn the playbook too.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting, but I'm glad it's their problem and not the Saints. It probably would have been easier with the Saints because we probably would have did the same thing, but it probably would have made more sense.
Week 10.
Because you have a guy who you only have to be contractually obligated to for another season, and then you can decide what to do with them after that, as opposed to 2 years minimum.
Years. Yeah.
And if my cousin Kirk balls like he was doing in Minnesota, now we're talking 3-4 years. So it sucks. I think it sucks for both of them.
Do we think Raheem Morris is going to be there for long term though, like more than a year? I don't know. I feel like with him, it kind of feels similar to the what's his name? Over in Houston, he was there for a year. The dude from Baltimore they hired. I forget his name so bad. He's like an old head.
You're talking about. Yeah.
Romeo? No, it's not Romeo Cornell.
No, it's not. No.
Well, y'all figured out. I'm gonna say Raheem Morris. He knows how to. Well, based off of his previous work in Atlanta and his work with Rams, like he know how to put together a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
He knows
their next 3 picks were all defense, except they took the dude from Clemson over Jerseyan Newton. So they must have seen something in Newton we didn't see. I don't know. Newton looked really good as a player in the prospects. I don't know what they saw in that dude from Clemson they took to say we're going to take him over Newton. But like, hey, David Culley. Why did I think Romeo Cornell? I'm so stupid.
David Culley. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's the dude.
Yeah, Lovie Smith.
Yeah, but hey, Lovie Smith saved 2 NFL franchises.
Yeah,
saved 2 NFL people be forgetting that. Lovie Smith fixed actually 3 franchises now that I think about it. He saved the Texans because they put him at 2. Saved the Bears, gave them 1, which they traded to Carolina to get Caleb Williamson next year. And then also they beat the Colts, which pushed the Colts to 4, giving them the opportunity to take Anthony Richardson. So he saved 4 franchises with 1 decision. So shout out Lovie Smith for that. Always found that kind of cool, interesting tidbit.
That's great.
So Rams lost to Aaron Donald, and they fixed the defensive line and got it even more scary now. That's crazy, man. You lose a top 3 pass rusher, a top 3 defensive player all time, right? And somehow your defense, like on paper, doesn't look like it's gonna miss a beat. Like I know you can't replace Aaron Donald, but like they got dogs on all 4 spots on that D line now.
Oh, dude, they got they got Fisk from Florida State, Jared Verse. Dude, they did.
Turner, I believe his name is Turner, Kobe Turner, something like that, right? The dude last year.
Yeah, Kobe. Yeah, he's the defensive tackle now. Mm-hmm.
And all this
because crazy for them.
It's funny Sean McVay like considered walking away and retiring at such a young age. I'm like, dude, nah. The way that they just did this, nah.
I mean, it's still on the table in the sense of I think they need to still figure out heir apparent for Matthew Stafford. Because maybe if Stetson gets his kind of life together, he could be a good plug-in. But they need to really start to think about who's replacing Matthew Stafford, and it would be ideal to have that person in the room learning from Matthew Stafford, as opposed to now you're forced to draft the quarterback and figure it out. And that's probably something that a Sean McVay won't sign up for. So we'll see. There's still some time left on what he ends up doing.
Right. Yeah.
I was shocked he didn't go after Zach Wilson. I'm gonna be real.
Really?
I don't know what. I kind of felt like Zach and LA made too much sense in my opinion. It made way more sense than where Zach ended up.
Hold up.
Because I knew they were taking Bo Nix. It was just writing on the wall with that. But all right, go before I continue on to that topic.
Ace, is it because him and McVay look alike?
They do. I never thought about that. Oh.
Is that why? Because I mean, Bo Nix and Zach Wilson look alike too.
Yeah.
Travis made a lot of sense too. I would say that Travis made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm surprised McVay didn't go.
He could have sat a year and just bang right there.
Y'all want to hear my bold prediction for where we'll be by next year's training camp? I think McVay goes and gets Trey Lance, and he trolls the hell out of the 49ers and turns this guy into what he was supposed to be. So y'all remember, I said that on y'all's show. So when we're here again next year, and that happens because the Cowboys just declined his 5th-year option. So he's going to be a free agent next year. Remember I said
he gets him on cheap money. Oh, my God. Oh, that makes so much sense.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy.
McVay trolling Shanahan like that. Oh my God.
And it'd be something too if he won a Super Bowl with him, knowing Shanahan can't win a Super Bowl. Not as a coordinator.
No, you know what would be funny? Right? So 49ers run Purdy, right? Purdy goes, he has his regular season success, whatnot. Does all right in the playoffs. And then the Rams go with Trey Lance, beats Brock Purdy next year. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, right? But imagine if Justin Fields cooks next year in Pittsburgh. Not this season, but next season in Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh is right in the thick of it in the AFC, while teams like Chicago with Caleb is struggling and Brock Purdy's struggling and the Patriots. Mac Jones not there anymore, but still, and Jags not like kind of mediocre. And Justin Fields and Trey Lance are cooking, bro. That's going to be hilarious shit right there.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see what happens with Brock Purdy because I think everybody's assuming that he's about to get this. But I think everybody's assuming he's about to get this mega deal, huh?
Pittsburgh got an O-line now, guys. Watch out.
Oh, well, that's true. That's true. But I think people are just kind of assuming that Brock Purdy's going to get the next mega deal for the quarterback position, and something in my spirit thinks he's about to get the Kirk Cousins in Washington treatment, where he's clearly the guy that you probably should pay, but you don't really want to pay him all that money because you're not convinced that he's a top 5 quarterback, so to speak. And so, franchise tag here, franchise tag there, and first chance that they truly get to leave, they're gone because now they don't want to resign with you because you played on their name for a couple of years. So it wouldn't surprise me if that happens with them.
But Eberflus ain't gonna be there next year, unless the Bears make the playoffs, which is possible. But if they don't, bro, Eberflus is gone, just like how Nagy was gone a year after Trubisky. Not Nagy. John Fox, was it John Fox? Right, he was gone a year after Trubisky got drafted.
Yeah,
Nagy was gone a year after Fields got drafted. Eberflus gone, bro. That's gonna be hilarious.
I'm trying to think. Detroit and Minnesota, I have the most confidence in right now in that division. I don't see. And then you got to look at the landscape of the NFC. I don't see Chicago in the playoffs.
Hey, first team in the NFC to get a truly top 10 quarterback. Not Jalen Hurts is top 10, right? But compared to the guys in the top 10 in the AFC, right, with Burrow, Lamar, Mahomes, Stroud, Allen, all those guys, right? But you compare them to the NFC guys, whoever gets that type of caliber quarterback in the NFC is running that conference.
Well, the Saints got him. Picked him 5th round. Pick 150.
Okay, I want to say this. When you were posting that, was it the Friday night? That was day 2 night, right? Friday night, you posted the mock draft for the 5th round. You had him trading up in the 4th round. I was mad. I did not. I'll say this. I love the route we're picked now because we didn't give up anything to go get him. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
You kept all your picks for next season right intact. You didn't go make any stupid trades to go get him. You kept him there, and you got your guy at 150. That works out for me, I think, best. That's why I like that pick. But I'll talk about the thing. McCarthy in Minnesota, that's gonna be kind of scary. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like O'Connell's gonna get him. Same here.
Sam Bradford QB1, man.
Oh my
Yeah, but
god.
I'm curious what y'all think about because a defensive player didn't get taken to 15. Like that's crazy.
It was Latu, right?
Yeah.
Latu, the
Yeah,
Seahawks.
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
what I mean. Because honestly, I
That
felt
was
like,
crazy.
I mean, there were
And him over Miller was crazy. Or him over Turner was crazy.
yeah, I figured that was
Yeah.
a little bit higher. He was so sought after. He was honestly one of the top. Well, he was one of he was one of the top prospects defensively, probably the best
Mhm.
edge rusher and everything. I was like, yeah, he might be a top 10 pick, but I was surprised. If
Yeah.
anything, really what surprised me was because honestly, but now that I think about it, it's not so much a surprise anymore. But Ricky Pearsall, I thought he was going to be like a
Mhm.
second or
I
like
didn't think he would
early
go first
third
round,
round
bro.
pick. But then I was
I
like,
told you, wide receivers from Florida who go first round don't work.
But and it's here's the other thing too. It's like, you know what it told me? I was like, you know what? White wide receiver, San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, this makes sense now. This
Well, they
makes sense.
needed to add a. I mean, they needed to add a route runner. I mean, Brandon Ayuk was all by himself in the wide receiver room with that ability. So,
That's true.
add
Brandon Ayuk
another
gone.
pretty good route runner is legit. So it'll be interesting, the dynamic. But I like it. I mean, I like when
That's true though.
sometimes teams surprise us and draft a guy that we probably don't. We're like, didn't think they'd go in that spot, but it's not necessarily that we're questioning the talent. It's like, okay, just thought we'd see you tomorrow, not today. Okay, cool.
But also 6 quarterbacks won in the first 12 picks, so that kind of like pushes
That's
everything
crazy.
backwards.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So speaking of 6 quarterbacks going in the first 12 picks, I mean, 1 we made sense, 2 made sense, 3 made sense, 8 was big question mark,
Yeah.
and then there's number 12. Like we already talked about JJ at 10, but then there's
Yeah.
number 12
Oh,
with Bubba Boy Sean doing what he does best, being a cocky
Yeah.
asshole, trying to think he's so
Honestly,
much better than everybody else.
I honestly thought he would have taken JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, I did too. But I mean the Vikings traded ahead of them anyway, or they would have had that pick anyway because they were at 11, traded to 10. But
To make sure
I didn't think he was going to
Denver
draft a
didn't blow up.
quarterback. To be quite honest with you, I thought
I
he was
thought he
going to.
was.
I thought he was going to try to,
I thought he was going to take Bo Nix
mold
second
Zach
round.
Wilson.
Mm.
He loves projects. I thought he was going to try to mold Zach Wilson. But I guess that shows growth. I can choose to be upset. I mean, I can't stand him, because for years we could have had quarterbacks that he decided not to take because he wanted Taysom Hill to be the heir apparent to Drew Brees.
Like I said, cocky
But
asshole.
maybe it's growth. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe he's off the perks and he can actually think about the future of the team.
Oh,
Uh,
oh my god.
but don't believe me, there's an open case. Team doctor got fired. He actually performed on my knee, and every visit he'd ask me if I was in pain. No, sir, I'm not. But I'm going to prescribe you. So I guess I was messing up
I
his
had to pick
horn. I
between
didn't
Zach
know.
Wilson and Bo Nix. Like, I don't know. I might be crazy, but like Zach Wilson's got things you can work with. I don't know. Bo Nix, like, I just never saw it in Bo
I
Nix.
like
I'm
Bo.
real.
You didn't? I like Bo.
Like Bo to me, like I had him and Spencer Rattler in like that same second, third round type of tier.
Yeah.
I didn't think he should have won first round. Like if Jordan Travis didn't get hurt, I would have had Jordan Travis ahead of both of them.
Oh yeah.
I agree.
I felt, honestly, with Bo Nix, I felt like his development wasn't going to be what it should have been if he would have stayed at Auburn, because Auburn just doesn't.
He got to sit a year.
Yeah,
I feel like he got to sit a year to be decent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
that brings up the interesting stuff. Like Sean's probably gonna throw him into the fire, but like if Sean went and started Zach Wilson right like week 1 and Zach Wilson balled out the whole year, that's just gonna be hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess at that point that's a good problem to have, but like
yeah,
it would be funny though if like you give a guy like let's say Purdy got hurt or he has a down year, and then you have Zach Wilson got a good year in Denver, be a free agent, and then McVay goes and takes Lance, and then Shanahan takes Wilson. Like that's gonna be hilarious.
Wilson is like 3 months older than
I'm just talking nonsense. Don't mind me. I'm just looking for the memes and the crazy storylines.
All right, well, we'll say this. I know we hit on the free agents earlier, but there's still a long list of free agents still out there that have not been touched yet. I believe Odell
So where do you
Beckham.
think Michael Thomas going?
Ooh,
Where do I
Because
think he's
Kansas City
going?
got Xavier Worthy, so I don't think he's going to Kansas City now.
Well, Xavier's still more of a deep threat. I think they might get he could be somebody that comes in.
possession
They
guy.
still need an adult. Yeah, they still need an adult in the room. So I could see them taking a flyer on Michael Thomas. Baltimore is another one. They like to bring in vet guys.
This
So
one though,
Those are really two areas I can see for him.
freaky on the money with this one. I think they're going to sign like Tyler Boyd and Michael Thomas because they only took McConkey, I believe, in the draft. And I don't know if you can give him all the target because unless you truly believe that Quentin Johnston's going to show you something this year.
so
And that's
here's
the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
Here's the list right here. So the free agency market should return to focus after the draft. Some names that are still available: Justin Simmons, who's his free safety; Ryan Tannehill, who I don't think is going to get a call unless it's an emergency; Xavier Howard, who was a top 5 corner not too long ago.
He got AIDS.
Wait, what?
Ain't he got
Wait,
AIDS
what?
herpes?
Whoa. Wait,
No, man.
No, but then what was that whole
Scratch that
thing going
from
on
the
down in
record.
Miami?
From the record.
I had this.
Where's the flag? I want to throw it. Where's the flag? Just throw that on there, man.
Look, I was going to read the next name, and then I said, wait, pause. I know I didn't just hear it. I think I just heard.
Man.
Wasn't there somebody on the Dolphins got accused of like they went and did it with a woman or something, and they knowingly had either AIDS or herpes or something like that.
Hey, please
and
just
they got a lawsuit.
STD.
STD,
You just like went full on Magic Johnson, man. Like I don't think the world was ready for that, Ace. I don't.
My brain's tweaking right now. It said, "Hey, school's done now. They canceled that exam tomorrow." My brain off. It's just talking nonsense now.
Oh my god!
Oh,
All right, back
God.
to the list. Back to it. Sorry, guys.
All right. Stephon Gilmore's still out there. Adoree Jackson, who I'm not expecting to get a call. He actually is disappointed.
Adoree Jackson was solid in New York.
He was pretty good last year in New York. This is injuries,
I feel
man.
like a team like Indianapolis is gonna call him. Somebody who'd missed out. They're gonna call him.
Those are David Bakhtiari's around, Tyler Boyd, Odell Beckham.
He retired, right?
He needs to.
Bakhtiari.
He needs to. I don't think he has yet.
DJ Chark is still out there. Michael Gallup is still out there, but Dallas don't want him.
No, Gallup signed.
Gallup just signed.
Raiders?
Okay.
Raiders?
With the Raiders, yeah.
Okay. Michael Thomas, Hunter Renfrow.
No. Next. We're not. No.
And then
You know what? Everybody's saying he's going to the Saints. And you know what?
No.
I would love for him to go for the Saints, but not for different reasons. Like I want Olave, Shaheed, and A.T. Perry to do to him what they did to Brian Edwards. Like I need them to let those old guys know that shit ain't sweet and they just wasted their time in that hot ass humid summer in New Orleans for nothing. Or we're gonna be in California this year, but I just want them to understand that shit ain't sweet in that wide receiver room, and those young men are relentless in terms of how competitive they are. So it's like that's one of Carr's guys. We want to get him out of the building. That's probably the mentality they're going to have. So I would just want it for the amusement of seeing how that process goes. And if you can't make the Saints, who kind of need wide receivers, you're probably signing the death warrant on your career as a wide receiver, to be quite honest.
That's crazy.
So we'll see.
Speaking of wide receivers, of course, the Chiefs landed Xavier Worthy.
Thanks
Bro,
to the
the Bills
Bills.
gave them. The Bills gave it to them. Like what? Okay, I like Keon Coleman, but his feet sometimes scare me and remind me of Devontae Parker in some cases, which is the only thing I worry about with him. Like Devontae's solid, but like his separation
Mhm.
skills weren't the best, which scares me on Keon Coleman. But with Worthy, man, that speed, they're gonna stick him in that Tyreek Smith all over the place role, and DBs are gonna be in hell.
Man, I just don't
Although,
understand what's wrong with the
like,
AFC. Like, have they like conceded that they'll never beat the Chiefs? I like what happened to the days where a conference opponent would not trade with you?
they
They
didn't
would not
trade,
help
yeah.
you, especially if you are like if that team is consistently in your way. Like the Patriots and the Colts would never trade with one another. Like during the Brady Peyton era. Like,
No.
what are
They
we
wouldn't help
doing?
each other at all.
Everybody wants to be buddy nowadays, and
We need the true hatred back in the league, man. Like, like, nah, we don't F with you, bro. We don't want you around here. We ain't gonna help you at all. That we need that back.
This is why I said this about college football. College football was better when we had scandals and feuds and all.
Man, I tell you stories back,
Amen.
man.
It was better back then. Everybody want to be buddy. Everybody want this and they want that. That's when it was at its best. But I don't get it now because honestly, the one team I can honestly say you will not see the Chiefs trade with or make a move with is the Texans. The Texans, I feel like, are trying to build something to take
beat them.
Mm-hmm.
But now you look at Buffalo. Buffalo done conceded, and they realize, oh well, we'll never get past them.
Yeah. I remember a couple of years ago, Baltimore traded at least their best offensive tackle at the time to him. And that was coming off the year where we were talking about how bad Kansas City's offensive line was and Patrick Mahomes is on one leg. And you're like, hey, here's one. And it's like, why? Like, you got him.
Was Orlando Brown, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Orlando Brown. Yeah, that's who it was. Like, and then,
right?
Yeah, and then the year you trade Orlando Brown, that's the year Lamar gets hurt because they can't block for him. It's, I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Well, okay, this part makes sense, but like you could have done it with any other team, man.
Trade with the Lions or some shit. Like I don't trade with the
somebody
Bills.
wanted a corner. Why didn't you trade with?
Oh, don't trade the
in the
Chiefs.
corner. There was still like somebody would have traded up for Cooper DeJean.
I don't know. I don't get it.
Like Carolina wasn't gonna take it, but like you could have got whatever you wanted, but whatever.
It's crazy. It's just crazy.
All right. Other picks. Eagles got 2 of the top DBs in the draft, but the Saints might have got the sneakiest one. I know there's no bias in that.
What was that kid's name? The white safety. Oh my god.
Cooper DeJean?
Cool.
Yeah. It was crazy. Don't y'all cancel me for this. Someone was like, he's gonna be. Let me not say that. I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, don't be like me and say stupidness.
I'm not gonna say it because this is something that drunk would roll over laughing at, but I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah,
man. I like
wrong way, man.
I do too. I really want to see him.
Yeah, I think they kind of overhyped them just in terms of, like every year there's a draft pick that like this guy's definitely going first round. And it's like, well, he played for Iowa. They don't really play against talented offenses. And when they do, we see Michigan and Ohio State put up 40 on them. And then he had a foot injury too. So it wasn't helping.
Honestly, I thought he would have probably went like mid, like fourth round or something like that, or But I was like, oh, he's like that. I didn't know he was really like that.
Because he's versatile. Right. Like him and Terry and Arnold are probably the 2 most versatile in the draft. Just you can put them anywhere, so it makes sense.
All right, pivot from the draft now to talk about before we get into the whole Colorado situation, right? So we got 2 guys on the market who are definitely probably going to be. I feel like they might be there week 1, but I'm pretty sure they're going to get traded during June, July area during training camp, before training camp starts, and their teams drafted their replacements. If you look at it, kind of, well, they could be like wide receiver 3s, but it's most likely they're gonna be the replacements in Jermaine Burton and Ricky Pearsall with T. Higgins and Brandon Ayuk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, or Debo. They're determining which one they're gonna trade between Ayuk and Debo, but they could get more for Ayuk, but that's a whole conversation for another day. But So where do you guys think Ayuk and T. Higgins gonna end up now that Leggette's down in South Carolina and some other spots filled up?
Well,
Or do you think they stay with their teams? Because Mike Brown's the cheapest owner in the league.
Well, 49ers, they don't plan on trading either Ayuk or Debo.
They say that, but they're going to trade him. They're trying to milk them for an offer to come.
Honestly, that.
Because when you think about it, like you were talking about how they want to give Purdy like they're going to probably pay Purdy or whatever. You can't pay Ayuk and then pay Purdy. That's why I feel like they're kind of holding out on the Ayuk deal.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to guess, I think
Pittsburgh comes calling.
I think T. Higgins ends up being a Charger, and I think Deebo Samuel, because I don't think the 49ers are going to get rid of Ayuk. I think he's too valuable as a legit wide receiver.
Yeah,
for them to let him go. Like I think Debo, if he's not coming out of the backfield, in my opinion, he's not effective as a route runner. I mean, we saw in the Super Bowl, the cornerbacks were running the routes for him. So, and then already dealing with his injury issues, it's probably not a better time than now to let him go. I would say he's probably ends up being a Patriot, maybe. That's been a team reportedly in the Debo market. Yeah, it's been a team reportedly in the Debo market. So.
I like it.
I don't know if you remember. I think it was back during 2020, 2021. He was very frustrated with being overused and overworked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he remembers that, but that's when I really thought initially he was gonna, get shipped out of there. But AP, though, I just right now I'm having a tough time seeing it. Some areas are pretty being ultra cheap.
Yeah, AP. That's assuming they're actually going to want to pay Purdy though.
That's freaky peasy, by the way, from Twitter. I don't know if you know that.
Chris. I did not know that, but it's just like when you have, it's something about those Shanahans, those Paytons that.
This is hilarious.
You see,
once McCaffrey showed, but salute to Debo for finessing.
He's true.
Money with the Grand.
He's right. That's why it's hilarious.
It's the truth. It's the truth. Like if I gotta use you as a running back to be effective, like it's not gonna work, in my opinion. But I don't know. I would trade if you're going to trade him, trade Debo, not Ayuk. Yeah. But I'm kind of with you though, JP. It's like I mean, just keep him. I mean, shit, don't ruin a good thing. You still got him under contract. Yeah. And if you can pay Ayuk enough money to make him stay, then sure. And there's really no rush to trade Debo right now. Bring Ricky in. You still got Juwan Jennings. That just seems to show up out of nowhere.
Juwan Jennings, Super Bowl performance was crazy.
Like, I don't really get it. Like, he's one of those dudes where, right now, it's looking like he could be a wide receiver one from a 14. Then he might pay him all that damn money. He's not worth a damn.
He's not nobody. Yeah.
Like I said, they did lose Ray because Ray McLeod's now in Atlanta. So I only know this because I just saw him in the barbershop about a couple weeks ago. So because he came in there, he's like, I'm going to Atlanta. I was like, wait, what? I was like, okay, all right.
Cowboys didn't draft a running back, did they?
Did who draft a running back?
Cowboys. I know they signed Zeke. I don't think they signed
did not.
Yeah, they didn't.
They didn't draft a running back.
What is that running back room going to be? They really believe in Reese Dowdle that much, or are they going to give?
I think so.
Third nonsense.
Dude,
I think they believe in his contract. It's what they believe in.
Malik Davis needs more opportunities at that point. Then
I am not buying any stock in the Dallas Cowboys whatsoever.
That team is like, ooh.
I'm telling you now. And Jerry Jones is already saying, be patient as we work on Stevie Lamb's deal and everything. It's crazy.
That's accurate.
This is going to be a mess. And it's going to be so many Cowboys fans talking about, oh, Dallas is going to win the Super Bowl this year.
They're not winning squad. I'd be shocked if they make the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I really don't think
really?
coming out of that division, if there's
They're
two,
barely.
then I have faith in Philadelphia and Washington.
Okay.
Washington got to do it. D-line. It's the secondary. I think the secondary in Washington is the biggest question mark.
Yeah.
If it holds up in the DB room, not like safety. They got a good safety pairing. I like Forrest, I believe his name is, running the backfield over there in Washington. But the DB is the biggest question mark for them.
At least Dak and Zeke and the Cowboys.
Well, I see it for both of them.
Yeah. I've been on the impression that I do think Dak needs to get out of Dallas.
Yeah.
He does.
That's another conversation for another day. Already the hour 5 mark. Oh crap, we forgot to tell Instagram people to head over to YouTube. My bad. I forgot about that.
Oh good. Yeah, Instagram folks. Well, yeah, now you know. Already cut off. Cowboys drafted their future front office this year's worst Jerry Jones draft. Dude, honestly, it was
I think it was good. Yeah, he thinks it's a bad draft
picks
this
were
year.
Solid. It was because of no flashy picks, but the O-line picks were solid. I like their O-line picks.
Yeah. I mean, I think they got one of the best tackles in the draft and the best guard in the draft in Cooper. Like, I mean,
why did Green Bay not take Tyler Smith? That will shock me forever. I don't get it.
Atlanta Suns Dak in 2025.
They might.
It wouldn't even surprise me.
Please, out into the max deal.
It wouldn't even surprise me at that point. I'll just be like, look, what is this? They're just like, you know what? Who's gonna finish what Michael Vick started? Somebody got to finish.
Sure, they might bring Michael Vick in. Just keep it. Just recycle it.
Wouldn't even. And while we're at it, bring back Crumpler, bring back Warwick Dunn. And if anything, go get Andre Rising. Go get him too.
Dude. Oh, yeah, they're gonna sign Dak. They're gonna draft Shador next year. It's just gonna be, and they're gonna best QB room in the league, baby.
Brought it up. Switch the background.
Glad you said that.
I'm brought up the name. Speaking of
my bad.
Family. Oh my god. No, you did a good thing. You did a good thing, Trey. You brought him up. I've been procrastinating on the topic, but it's time to blast him. Let's blast.
The funny thing about that is when you had Dion, who said Shador, Shiloh, and Travis all need to either play for Philadelphia, Dallas, Atlanta, San Francisco, or Baltimore. I'm like, so basically the Eagles and every team that you ever played for is who they need to go to. First of all, if I'm Shador, which honestly, if you kind of think about it,
they need to shut them out, bro. They just
this might end up happening. Because what's funny, someone did a mock draft and had him going to the Raiders already at 9.
That's where I have him going. So.
And it would be funny if Dak don't come back, if Jerry Jones goes in and just is like, you know what, I want Shador.
Possible.
That would be crazy. Oh my gosh. I'm like, so basically you went from Dak to, and essentially really probably downgraded, because I don't see it, man. I'm sorry.
Bro, Shador, I used to be a big Shador fan, but Shador keep yapping, bro.
Honestly, I need to know something, Ace. Ace, educate me. What other quarterbacks is in this draft class next year?
You got Quinn Ewers, you got Milroe, you got Shador. Trey knows the rest of them.
Carson. Carson Beck. You got Riley Leonard.
Leonard. He was supposed to be a
Nussmeier.
this year.
Okay. Don't you have DJU?
Yeah, but you can put your finger down for him, man. You can put your finger down for him. I try to think about who else is coming out.
Come up here. I would say this, but Riley Leonard was a better prospect than Bo Nix and JJ McCarthy.
Yeah. And he'll do good. He's at A&M now, I believe. And
I thought he went to Notre Dame.
Oh, he did go to Notre Dame because his coach went to A&M and they were thinking he might go there.
Stop it. That is on
Al McCord. I don't see it.
Take him off. He sucks.
It's about a good 6. It's about a good 6 that could be promising. And every year, there's somebody that comes out of the woodworks. Like, can't remember the first name. I think his last name is Miller. going to be the starting quarterback for USC. Like, knowing Lincoln Riley as the quarterback whisperer, that could be somebody that shoots up draft boards because he looked good in their bowl game. So,
So
okay,
keep
so
an eye
this
out for
is like
him.
I saw this thing with Shadura, right? Was
Uh-huh.
like you remember how they blasted Rattler back in 2017, right? Or whenever, well, not 2017, but like whenever he was 17 on that reality show, and he
Yeah.
said our wide receivers suck. Yeah, this is like almost the same kind of thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like, bro, you need to stop talking, man. I know you had a good first couple of games, but your team won 4 games last season, and you're just pissing everybody off now.
And it's funny you say that because this is what his daddy said. Let me stop sharing.
His daddy need to shut up too, bro. I wanted him in USF, but man, I'm thankful I got Alec Golish now, bro. This dude just need to stop it.
Look, I think you know what. I'm not good. You know what, Chet? I'm just go there. The world, or the college football world, is seeing exactly what the HBCU community went through for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
With this,
I understand where Jackson State fans were coming from now. Some of them, at least.
Everyone. This is what we all were going through. What you didn't see in the offseason because it wasn't big time mainstream media every single day. And
he'd still be Power 5. It's just if he said what he said, he'd be off a lot of people's draft boards at this point right now.
And man, he just needs to relax. And the crazy thing is, like, Coach Prime, he's a Hall of Famer. At this point in time, he can say what he wants, but I think even he's kind of forgetting that, dude, you're a head coach now. You're not just Prime. So you don't just have your kids' lives in your hands. You have other kids' lives in your hands too. And like this type of back and forth banter, like that just can't happen from a head coach at any level, let alone the collegiate Power 5 or technically Power 4 now level.
Exactly.
You just don't need that happening because and whoever's in Travis Hunter's camp is smart as hell because he doesn't really get into any of this type of stuff. He stays to himself, and he's clearly the best player on that team and probably the best player in the nation. And so I think he'll be fine. But Shador, man, you gotta be able to play because if you can't establish yourself as one of them ones and y'all aren't winning games and being in some of these big games that get guys drafted in the league, like that nepotism in your last name is only going to get you so far. And, you know, you can't take your daddy with you to the league.
Exactly. And he already said he ain't going. And it's, for me, it's like I look at all this and wait, bring that back. No, not that one. The other one. See, when Dion was in HBCUs, he was putting belts to ass, so everything he said was gold. But now, exactly, and this is he was able to overpower everybody. That's the thing. He had all this NFL talent going against all these coaches and stuff. He was outmatching people. He was able to like literally come in,
out recruit and out everything.
Exactly.
No, you can't muscle everybody out because they have the big dogs in the Power 5.
Exactly. And it's just like Trey said, you realize now that like he's kind of like flexing his muscles and throwing his weight around and stuff, but it's like, yeah, you can't do that anymore, man. You're a coach.
And you gotta
exactly. And he still
Trey, look at this one.
Yeah.
He still couldn't win a Celebration Bowl. It's very much facts. But yeah, like, it's like, dude, like you need to realize like you're leaving the Pac-12. Pac-12 is dissolved. You're going to a Big 12 conference that still has a powerful Oklahoma State team that still has a very fast and physical, from what I watched in one game I saw them play live, a very fast and physical UCF team. You're going to
Kansas State.
Is it Kansas State?
Utah,
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State. Kansas is no pushover. You've got
Jalen Daniels, I believe his name is, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because he was good last year, and then he decided to sit out after his 4 games because he wanted to keep his red shirt.
Yeah, like, dude,
That's another guy for this draft, by the way.
what he's walking is likely tougher than what they just left.
It is. Oh, definitely. It's much tougher than what the Pac-12 was.
Like they need to come into this season ready to score like 40, 50 points a game.
Well, they definitely need to run the ball. And that's kind of what I think I saw last year that I didn't really see a lot in Jackson State. I think the athletes were allowed to be athletes, and you played a team game. And I think once they got to Colorado, and it was, well, more lights are going to be on us. Let's have Shador drop back 50 times. Like there was no reason that they needed to throw the ball as much as they threw the ball. And you can talk about how bad the defense was, but sometimes in offense, their job is to protect the defense. That's why I think USC probably didn't have as much success with Caleb Williams, or Lincoln Riley didn't have as much success from a winning standpoint with Caleb Williams that he had with Baker and Collar. Because I think they understood that, yeah, the highlight plays are great, but I know I need to protect my defense. I need to put together some drives every now and then. I can take the check down and make it easier so my defense can get a breather. And I think if they come into the Big 12 and they think they're going to be pass happy again, they're going to be in for a rude awakening. And we're talking about Shadur's draft stock. I don't know if he's going to make it through his season because he barely made it through last season. And I don't think he's making it through this season. If he gets injured, or if they try to have that same formula, you have to play a team game in complementary football. And if they don't do that, it's going to be tough.
I'm not trying to be mean, but Colorado had the most out of shape running back I've ever seen. I think he's talking about Savion Wilkerson, who I think he transferred out. It's funny. He started at Delaware State, went to Jackson State, then went to Colorado, and then I don't even know where he is now.
I think he graduated because I think he was out of eligibility. I think he was out.
Probably.
Well,
I mean, he was fine. I mean, but you had some pretty talented running back, and they just didn't utilize him at all.
Yeah. I believe the other guy left too. Not Edwards, his other name. I forgot the name of the guy. Henderson.
Yeah, they did have another running back leave.
Henderson left, I believe.
They did, yeah.
And that all goes back to what. Remember, I believe y'all saw too the Cormani McClain whole situation with him on the Twitter space, and how everybody jumped him, and so I was like, man, these people growing, they got to take care of themselves too. Dion ain't giving a crap about anybody besides his kids, and he ain't doing a good job on that right now either. So anyways, you got these guys gotta put themselves. Dion, Shadura, y'all gotta shut up and actually prove it before you say anything. Y'all just yapping, you ain't proving squat in Power 5.
Yeah, and then they went after a player that was a freshman All-American last year. So it just kind of shows the tunnel vision they have, that you can't even see that a guy left your program and excelled where he went. And Austin Peabody is a pretty good program, so it's not something to sniff at of saying, oh, he's with the Austin P. Like, they put guys in the league too, so yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that University of Texas. So like that kid that
the one who got jumped.
Not Cormani.
No, Xavier Smith or the other guy. They had another guy today or yesterday. They jumped.
Oh no, it was Xavier Smith. So the University of Texas El Paso coach came out and said, I guess I could share it again. Let me go ahead and share it again for everybody real quick.
Yeah. They just got when he came up and spoke in favor of Xavier and just kind of supported him.
So he basically came on here and said, I coach Xavier at Austin P and now here at University of Texas El Paso. He's the furthest thing from soft. He's a great kid / player and led us to a conference title. He answered a question honestly in an interview and was just telling his side. He was a freshman All-American and has an extremely bright future on and off the field. I'm glad he's on my team. Check the tape.
Check the tape. Don't lie.
Look,
Mm-hmm.
that's and see this is right here is the difference between a guy like
You never saw Saban talk this much. Just saying.
never. What's his name at Oregon? Dan Lanning.
Oh,
Dan
yeah.
Lanning.
Lanning ain't talking this much either.
And look, Dan Lanning was right.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. Dan Lanning was right, but we already knew that too. So
Yeah.
Well,
But
yeah,
eventually they're gonna have
like
to.
80? It was what 80 they dropped on them?
oh no, Sacramento State
No.
already did that.
Oregon
But-
beat the crap out of Colorado. That was hilarious.
Yeah, and it was personal. Like, you mean, look, he
They're
said
gonna
what
get
it
that
was. I
every
mean, you
week
got to
now.
be able to prepare. You got to be able to prepare. Like, it's big boy football, and it's always been. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of why the celebration bowls didn't go their way, because you went against some teams that they play team ball. Which reminds me, we didn't mention Davis Richard and how idiotic it was for in the Legacy Bowl for them to run a QB power. And we talked about guys not being drafted. I think he probably would have gotten drafted. So
Yeah, Davius Richard. Yeah, I remember, dude. That was so boneheaded.
like,
That was so, oh my God.
we know he
Trey
can run the ball. We've seen it on tape. I don't need a QB power in a meaningless bowl game. So
Trey Oliver was pissed. I don't blame him. Wait, bring that back though, because there was a wide receiver in Colorado spring game a year ago that I can't remember his name.
Mathis, I think it was his last name.
Yeah, I think Buddy was showing out, and then he just hit the portal like the next day. I was like, geez, he looked pretty good.
Yeah. But
I get
y'all thinking of that was the guy. He went to Arizona. He ended up transferring to Arizona. The guy you're thinking about that went off in the spring game last year. He went to Arizona. I think he got drafted. I think.
But yeah. So one last thing I'll say about Colorado before I move on to all this other stuff is, look, they got to stop talking. If they keep running their mouths like this, it's going to be a lot of blood on Deion's hands.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say this is yeah. They can get everybody's best every game.
And they need to not have these little rap concerts and stuff. Shador need to give up his rap career, because I saw that too. We need to stop all that.
I mean, they need to start preparing like a team that won 4 games last year, and they want to at the least flip that. Because if you think about everything else about football and where you're going to be, that you can talk about where your guys are projected to be, but Spencer Rattler once upon a time was supposed to be a first round pick.
We forgot to talk about the politics of that. Dang it, I forgot.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we can let Lincoln Riley slide. We can let Lincoln Riley slide on that. I think USC is going to have a great year. I don't want to ruin it for them.
Stanford was abysmal last year, worst team I ever saw, and they beat Colorado. Yeah, dude, it's exactly.
They did Cormani dirty, but I hope Cormani goes to either USF or UCF and balls the hell out. And
man. I'm rooting for.
I will say this though: if I had to take a money bet on who's gonna have a better record again this season between USF and Colorado, USF's gonna have a better record, and UCF is gonna have a better record than Colorado.
Oh, dude, yeah. Oh yes, dude. UCF might be in the Big 12 championship this year.
Mm-hmm.
They might well be. But
NBA playoffs next.
Yeah, NBA next, and from what it looks like right away, Miami Heat are getting ready to get sent home. So another Florida team getting ready to be.
What's the score on that one?
Wait, the Heat are getting 10 over? No,
like 90-something to 66.
Oh, shit, it's over.
Yeah, it's over.
It's 98-66 at the start of. Yeah, that's over. Bro, the Heat, y'all had one job. Just win tonight, so the Magic game would have been at 8 instead of 7.
Oh, I got a friend going to that.
Yeah, but my graduation's at 6, and it's an hour and a half.
Man, look, ain't
I'm
one,
gonna be watching on my phone anyway. So who
one
cares?
basketball game ain't gonna hurt you.
It's game 6, bro. We know the Magic gonna win it still. Well, I hope they win it
Right.
anyway. They
Bro,
should have
you
won
graduate
last
from
night.
college.
You graduated.
It's bigger than game 6 of the playoffs.
Exactly. Look, man, the game gonna be halfway over. You can just go to like a Hooters or something, or go to like not the Cheesecake Factory. But go to
Nah,
like Buffy's or
I'll
something.
come home and watch it. I have my phone. I'll take my phone and my headphones in my pocket in my suit, in the gown. Inside that gown, I'm gonna be getting it. And the second 7 o'clock hits, bruh, they'll be calling everybody name. I never heard of these people before. I'll be watching on my phone.
Trey, this man. Most people want to go out to go eat after they graduate.
Yeah. Most people.
Hey, I'm getting the food and taking it home so I can have the whole thing home.
You could sit at a Miller's Ale House
You
and
can
watch.
go to a sports bar,
Bro,
man.
why would I go to Millie's Ale House after my graduation?
Oh,
I can
God.
go home and get all the stuff, and also, you can do all this stuff at home too.
Trey.
Anyways, we're going on this NBA playoffs. All right, Jamal Murray is proving me right, bruh. What'd I say? Driver of the Denver Nuggets. Jokic, the engine of that car, known as the Denver Nuggets. They don't win it without Murray.
Yeah,
They
but man,
stone bloody killer, bro.
but that's basketball. If you don't have a good guard, you're probably not gonna win. Or I should say perimeter player, not just the guard, but somebody on the perimeter that can carry you home. When you have that guy, it helps. But I'm glad Denver got it done because I didn't want to hear about, LeBron coming back from down 3-0 and all this legacy talk. I mean, people was bringing up Michael Jordan in conversations, and I'm like, I didn't even mention Michael Jordan, but I guess you're telling on yourself. Like, I don't understand. But
they can do something to keep LeBron in this. But I'm glad the Nuggets just ended it.
Yeah,
And we'll talk about this one too. It's like a new era, man. You got KD got absolutely dog walked by Ant. LeBron got dog walked by Jokic. Now Curry didn't even make the playoffs.
If there's somebody that people have been saying is like built like Jordan, it is Ant.
Bruh, it's like, okay, we used to say Jimmy was Michael's unclaimed child, but like
and now it's Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, like Anthony Edwards fits it more than Jimmy did, man. Like just looking at him too, it's like the same face structure of like where the cheekbones are and stuff that kind of matches too. And you're like,
same muscle build,
same built and everything. Like,
exactly. The only difference is he got hair.
Man,
he's what Jeffrey Jordan wanted to be. Jeffrey Jordan said. He said he'll take
He said this.
But the craziest thing, man, with LeBron and KD being out was that they played pretty well. Like, I mean, they didn't play to do it well. But I'll say it.
KD.
Yeah, especially when you see a guy like this man here.
You gotta come here.
I know.
Especially when you see a guy like Brandon Ingram, who's some say is the younger version of KD, get put into prison over a 4-game series. They just couldn't get it done.
I felt bad.
But I'll say, man, I think
let me down.
But I think like LeBron, KD, Steph, I mean, they're just the last of a dying breed because we don't have too many smart basketball players anymore. We got, I think Kobe said it one time, before he passed, when he was retired, where guys are playing basketball by accident. Like,
yeah,
they
don't direct.
I shot the ball like it went in, and that's kind of my philosophy of I don't know if I ever told y'all. Like I was saying, I have a theory of why LeBron James is still dominant at his age, but it's not leading to winning championships. And it's because he's playing against a bunch of low IQ basketball players, so he can still dominate them because he knows how to play the game of basketball better than they physically can. But he's not winning championships. Huh?
I don't need to shut the hell up and go to hell.
But I'm just saying,
this is straight idiocy right here. Idiocy.
But I'm just saying, man, but they don't win championships because he unfortunately has to play with a lot of low IQ basketball players. D'Angelo Russell, I'm talking to you.
D-Lo. Yeah.
That's
I'm
facts.
talking to you. And what's worse is the coaches. The coaches are horrible, like Darvin Ham. So, you got guys that have played
But
the game
also,
for a
he's
long
his
time.
second best
But
player. I want to interrupt, but LeBron's second best player is made of glass.
I mean, I
It
think
ain't
AD is the
nothing.
best player on the team, but they
Nah, but
don't
AD
realize
got
he's the best player on the
touched. Like
team.
Was it Gordon or Porter Jr.? Porter Jr. I think barely just brushed by him and he got hurt. Like that was
I mean,
are you?
man, I don't know. You ever hit that bone when it hits you
Money bone?
in the spot? Yeah, it hurts. But he played. But I don't know how you lead double digits every game of the series and you still lose
And blow it.
To me, that just shows just how dumb the other players are. Like, how do you not keep that lead? I don't know. Game 2, AD going off, and it's like, let's not pass the guy the ball anymore. Like who makes these decisions? I don't understand.
The more I think about it, it's just low IQ. Like, I don't know. It's just low IQ.
You want high IQ stuff. It's hard to find nowadays in the league.
It's hard to find in basketball. Period.
Yeah, that's true. But like the highest IQ players now you're seeing are the ones coming from Europe, and like Jokic, Doncic, and then because I believe somebody said it best. I always see this YouTube video show up with the dudes things like kids nowadays in America, they play 6 games and only have 1 practice, while Europe it's 6 practices and 1 game in a week, right?
Yeah.
And that is some factual stuff right now too, because none of these guys they don't get the fundamentals down. They don't know how to operate as a team and directing players to use mismatches and leverages against them. Like NFL, you still see the use of leverages and you see quarterbacks directing guys to where they got to do and high IQ stuff still to this day. But in the NBA, you don't see that because the way how they're getting trained from a young age is so much different than what it used to be.
Yeah. The NFL full of dummies too, but I won't bore you with that. We coming off the worst.
Nowadays it's stupid.
We coming off the worst quarterback play we've ever seen from a league standpoint. Like it's because they don't understand. They don't understand just the simple game, man. Like it's crazy, and I see it from Pee Wee, man. Like my godson plays Pee Wee football, and I went to one of his games. And he has the wristband, and it's 30 plays on there. I'm like, what is a 10-year-old gonna do with 30 plays, man? Like they don't even know how to tackle. They don't know how to run in a straight line. Like what are you gonna do with 30 plays?
Exactly.
But you want coaches that want to get discovered from the playground to the NFL. That's their dream. It's ridiculous, and it's just I don't know.
It's just for me. It's like you don't appreciate certain things until it's gone, and it's like for me, especially like Peyton Manning is one person that really stands out in that point, in that aspect, because it's like you look at like
guy like Manning, Breeze, and Brady.
The man used to put you to sleep with how he used to check plays at the line, but it's like that is smart ball. You're literally dissecting move out of position,
mid-dollar, I guess,
and you're trying to like move that defense, move certain players in certain positions and stuff to find an open spot or open up certain running lanes.
This probably thing. They'll have like a little Apple Watch and has the plays on it or some crap like that.
Right. It's crazy, man. What sports is coming to.
Cowherd said Bo Nix is Drew Brees 2.0. Like every year there's a guy that keeps saying it's Drew Brees, right? But it's like they don't understand Drew was like manipulating games with his brain. Like he played brain games on defenses. He would go to the line, change protections, change routes, kill plays. Like that kill was his legend, right? Like that was his bread and butter kind of stuff. What is just not sure. Anyways.
Yeah, you kill. You had Omaha.
Kill teams to the hell. Yeah. Omaha did that. That's what won games, but people don't understand. Like it's all mentals too.
Went from Breeze telling 10 players at the line what to do. It's absolute silence between QBs and offensive line. Yeah, no, that's the problem. You don't even see the traditional off quarterback center exchange like on the sideline where Peyton Manning and Jeff Saturday went at it.
They talked.
Yeah. Like, you don't
Hey, you notice McCoy went at it with Carr and they started to figure this shit together though.
Yeah. But man, it's just funny just watching just all the players coming in. I don't know. And the defense, the defensive. I mean, it's like the defensive coaches, because on their end they actually have to coach and develop because of all the rules and stuff. So they started, putting belt to ass, and then it was like, well, now we got to change the rules again. So it sucks. It sucks to be a defensive player, but
speaking of belt, one last thing for this evening. The brawl that erupted between the Rays and the Brewers.
Am I just the king of the segues tonight? Like
that was man, dude. Honestly,
hey, you working the transitions for us, man. It's all good. It's all good.
It was a very simple, just ground out to first base on Jose.
Bang.
And then all of a sudden, these two just shoved each other and went to swinging, and I'm like. Well, yeah, for real, like what in the world? Like, and bench is cleared. It was crazy. It was, and I'm sure Siri and the other guy got suspended, but I don't really think anybody else got suspended for that. Everyone else was trying to break it up, but that's crazy. That's the second altercation that the Rays have been in this season because they had one earlier in the year with Toronto where a dude literally shoved Siri in the face. So I'm like, what is Jose Siri saying to these guys to get under their skin?
It reminds me of Chauncey. Everybody wanted to fight Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Everybody still wants.
Sometimes I think he deserved that though.
Everybody still wants.
Sometimes I think he deserved. He talks some major shit.
That's crazy, but
he's one of those guys like you'd rather have him on your team than off your team.
Ooh. But folks,
this was fun.
The end of tonight's episode. We hope you've enjoyed. So, Trey, we appreciate you joining us, man.
Thank you, man.
Fun, man. We love when you come around, man.
Thank y'all, man. Appreciate y'all inviting me, and love having fun with you guys.
Definitely, man. Definitely. We're gonna keep an eye out for this NFC South. We're gonna keep an eye out for all these things. Whether Isaiah Major decides to come to New Orleans or whether he decides to go to Kansas City, either way, we're gonna be rooting for him. If he goes to, me and a lot of Bucks fans that are also FAMU fans, we're hoping he doesn't go to New Orleans. But if he does, either way, I'm still root for him and stuff. I want to see him do well. I want to see him be successful. But even if he goes to Kansas City, still I'm gonna root for him and everything. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to what transpired.
I'm calling it now. Watch this man as Major's gonna get a pick 6 on Jake Haener in practice and tryouts or whatever in that mini camps if he shows up and he gets that spot on the roster. That's gonna be hilarious.
That will be funny.
Lord Slytherin's gonna be a backup. Gonna be started by week 10, week 11. Bulk market.
Wow. But anybody else's closing thoughts?
This was great. Shout out Trey. No, if y'all watching this, 24 of y'all watching this, make sure you go subscribe to the No Disrespect But podcast with Trey. Great podcast, man. They talk about everything too. He got all the goodies on that with his what do you call your squad again? The
my Agents of Respect, man.
Agents of Respect, yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely catch us, man. Always drop episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Try to keep it light but fun. The whole premise, much like my conversation with these guys today, is we can talk about sports, have a good time, and we can be respectful of each other's opinions. The Stephen A's and the Skip Baylesses of the world, that's not the only way to get this shit done. So there's a way we can have some proper discourse and how we can actually make sports talk the best it can be if we can get everybody together and have these types of conversations. So again, love what these guys are doing, J Peeps and Ace, and what they're doing with their podcast. I already know the guys that are tuned in. You got a great product. Like I said, if you aren't yet, every Wednesday, your ass need to be tuning in live to what these guys are talking about. Because I'll tell you right now, there are just some topics that they talk about that, I don't always have knowledge on. And so it's good to kind of get a little bit more information from someone else's perspective. And that's what this is all about. If you're too good, if you feel like you're the smartest person in the room, you need to change the room you're in. So time to change that room, man, and get a new perspective on this thing we call life.
I feel that.
Yeah, that's facts, bro. That's facts.
For those of you that are looking for Trey on Instagram, probably on Instagram as well. But if you're looking for Trey on Twitter or X, if you want to be politically correct, there you go right there. Future NBA is where you can find Trey at as well. So y'all go give this man a follow. Again, great content coming from Trey and everything such as that.
Can't vouch for that. Hey, he just be ahead of some stuff on the NFL. Saw that route coming a mile away. Although he was right on the Phoenix one, but somebody decided to be a bunch of a-holes on that. But it's all good. It's all good. It'll bite him in the butt. A rattlesnake's gonna bite him. It's all good. That being said, be a friend, tell a friend, like, share, subscribe to both our channel and to the No Disrespect But podcast. We'll be back next Wednesday with more skitties, NBA playoffs, first round's wrapping up, NHL playoffs, the Lightning are out, but it's all good. They still got three more rings on the team that beat them, so who cares? Gotta count them. 1, 2, 3. Y'all think y'all run forward and get it straight? Hey, they swept them. Hey, Lightning swept them when they got it going, so they can't be talking squat like they run Florida. They ain't proved anything yet. Wow. Just saying.
Yeah, Ace ended it.
Anyways, gotta end it with some fire. You know how it is. It's all good. That said, y'all have a great weekend. Keep it safe. Keep it all good with y'all. Stay out of trouble in colleges if you got anything going on. People be tweaking nowadays.
Y'all have a blessed week, folks.
Peace.